necessarily express the views of the management, staff, or sponsors of AM 950 K-High.
Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, Jeremiah.
Once again, I botched the intro.
And I told you to be professional today. Anyway, okay, enough of that. Okay, good morning. I am Rob Littlepage, and this is the Garden Chronicles, and this is a gardening show, and we're actually going to be talking gardening today. And my guest that we have this morning is Dave Faoro.
Yeah,
you
got it.
Okay,
you
good.
got it.
Thank you. And Dave has Veneto Farms, and it's down in the Newcastle area. And so, good morning, Dave.
Good morning.
How you doing?
It's a wonderful day in the
gosh,
neighborhood.
isn't it? I mean, you just go outside, and it's like, gosh, it feels like fall.
Yeah, what am I doing inside of here?
I know. So anyway, that's it for the show, folks. And
right.
But, okay, Veneto Farms. I've been wondering a little bit about this. And how did you get the name for that? And because I just want to get a little background. And we're going to be talking this hour, folks, on, the fall and winter vegetable garden, looking ahead to the spring garden too a little bit. Because Dave has got quite a garden I've never seen it, but just talking with him before the show, it's pretty amazing. And so what do we need to do as homeowners and to get this garden going and really do something with it? So at that point, I guess I'll back up and just say Veneto Farms. That's kind of I don't know where that comes from.
Yeah, it's a name that people may not be familiar with, but it goes back a ways because my family, Italian heritage, my dad and my grandfather come from the region near Venice, which is the Veneto region in Italy.
Oh, okay.
And the Veneto region, the Mediterranean climate there is almost exactly like our Mediterranean climate here in California.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so similar things that grow there, how you grow things, the type of crops, the planning for those crops is similar to here.
Okay, so that's kind of, you got the name because of that similarities.
Yeah, the heat in the summer, the drier in the summer, the wet in the winter, and the temperature ranges, it's all very similar. So that's why it's called Veneto Gardens. So anyway, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you grow?
Veg. I love the looks. I love going around. I travel the world for my work, and I take the opportunity to visit botanical gardens all over the world, and it's a wonderful thing. But so I love to see, everything as well, plant wise.
Okay.
But when it comes to eating and vegetables, that's my passion.
That's your passion.
I grow things, and it's mainly summer type of veg is what I do. That most people know me for in the area, and that's in my little. We can talk sometime about my farm stand and what I do there, but it's about tomatoes. Let's be clear. I mean, if you
okay,
there's a reason why I think tomatoes is the most popular garden crop in the United States and maybe the world.
Yeah,
is because they're wonderful.
Yeah,
and what a lot of people don't realize is how different varieties of tomatoes, how they taste different, how they have a different texture, different amount of acid, different amount of sugar, and they go with different. Some are good for cooking, some are better for salads, some are, if you want to make a big old mayonnaise and tomato sandwich, you use the big old fat beefsteak. But if you have all these other salads and stuff, you're going to use something different.
You've made a study of this.
I'm kind of so yeah. So I think all this stuff goes back historically because I'm an engineer by trade.
Okay.
So technology is I study things at a level that a lot of people don't do, and so when you're I've studied these things, and I have a passion about tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
I grow about 300 plants a year, tomatoes, 50 varieties, So, and it varies. It varies.
Okay.
The types of varieties vary from year to year.
Okay.
Some don't make the cut to next year, and I have to. My wife let me extend my garden too much further. I've already stole part of her. Whether she's listening or not, she's going to chuckle. But I've stolen another section of the horse pasture. I may, Flo, if you're listening, close your ears. I may take more of that. But it's, there's only so much time and area you can do.
Yep.
So, but it's with the tomatoes. I've gone so far that for a few years now I've collaborated. There's collaboration with a breeder in the Bay Area, which people might know their seeds because you can buy them through other organizations like Johnny Seeds and others. Yeah, it's Artisan Seeds.
Oh, okay.
And give Fred a call out because they grow some really wonderful, multicolor, very tasty. The focus is on taste.
Okay.
Not just on looks.
Okay.
But the combination.
Okay.
And so they're.
That's
so
Artisan Seeds?
Artisan Seeds. And I try new varieties. And as do others, and some are not on the market.
Oh, wow.
These varieties. So it's fun to experiment with things and provide feedback and try some,
And speaking of feedback, if you have a question for us, give us a call at 885-3565 or 800-950-5244. And obviously, if you have a question about tomatoes, this is your big opportunity, folks.
Well, just don't make the questions too hard.
Well, yeah. Well,
we'll filter them.
Believe me, my audience knows that they can't ask a hard question because I'll just look blank at the microphone. But so when they're talking about taste, then you're talking about, like you mentioned earlier, like the acid levels and such that would kind of help guide a particular variety of tomato to a particular or an optimum use, I guess, or situation. And
it's even
because I never really thought about it like this.
Well, it's hard to. It's even better when you have a tasting. Where you do a tomato tasting, where you have them, all laid out, and you can see the variations of those themes. When I've done those tomato tasting, it just blows people's minds because they never thought, they're so used to store-bought tomatoes that all taste pretty bland.
Yeah.
Even heirlooms from the store, I find, taste bland.
Yep.
They just are not the same.
Well, a vine-ripened tomato as opposed to one that is, and if it's an heirloom, I mean, you can't pick those early.
No. And you can't pick and ship them early.
No.
You can't.
I mean,
they can't
not
be in
have
the
any flavor.
No,
you might as well buy a cardboard box.
And that's one of the things I do is I tend to pick my tomatoes at their prime, which means they're not for sitting around very long. But even then, by the way, a ripe tomato that's picked off your vine and you sit on your counter will last a number of days in your kitchen.
Oh,
sitting on the counter.
Okay.
Never put it in a fridge. Right. Never put a tomato in the fridge.
And why not?
They need to breathe. They're not going to. They're just going to basically rot. They're not going to do well.
Okay, because I know Wendy, my wife, it's like never put the tomatoes in the refrigerator, and so it's like okay, I won't, and we just keep them in a basket on the shelf in the kitchen.
And they keep really well at that temperature, and they ripen a little more.
Okay,
they get in the starches, turn to sugar and a little more. They don't get as good as vine ripen. I mean, they won't. If you pick them too green, they won't ripen at the level of vine ripen.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
I also believe that there's a difference in taste, not just about when you pick them.
Yeah.
It's also about his soil, because it's all about the when I believe in the research I've looked into says that taste comes also from your body saying this is really good for you. This has got
okay.
This has got things in there that are good for you.
Okay.
So there's other
that's kind of at a deeper level.
Yeah, it's other micronutrients and other things that have an impact other than NPK. that
Okay.
everybody's used to.
Yeah. Okay. And we have to take our first break right now, but we're going to hit on that because this is something I've talked about a lot in the past with soils and the micronutrients and all of this. So this is going to be fun, and we will be right back with my guest, Dave Faoro. Faoro?
Faoro.
I'm
That's
sorry.
Good. It's okay.
I can't.
It's only 5 letters. It's only 5 letters.
My cutoff is 4. We'll be right back.
K-High Radio is your home for Friday night football in the foothills. Tune in every Friday at 7 p.m. this fall as Casey Freelove and Dave Rosenthal bring you high school football action featuring all Placer Hillman varsity games. Listen live on K-High, stream the games live at khigh.com or on the free mobile K-High radio app as the Hillmen seek their 6th straight Pioneer Valley League title. Friday night football in the foothills all season long here on AM 950 K-High.
Tough as nails, nerves of steel. If you've come to test our metal, you better tighten up your chin strength. Get amped up for all the great iron action on the California Golden Bears Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Catherine Holt, and suicide prevention starts with everyday heroes like you. Please join us on Saturday, October 7th at 8 a.m. at the Auburn Railhead Park as we walk to fight suicide and raise awareness about mental health. Be a part of the movement turning hope into action and create a culture that's smart about mental health. Funds raised at the walks will benefit the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. K-High 950 AM has been one of our premier sponsors since the very beginning, and this is the 5th year. If you'd like to walk or find a walk near you, please go to outofthedarkness.org. Or again, join us on Saturday, October 7th at 8 a.m. at the Auburn Railhead Park. We hope to see everybody there, and thank you, K-High.
Because K-High cares. Here's another K-High Community Bulletin Board.
Join the Piers Auburn Senior Center Walking Group. The Placer Independent Resources Services emphasizes that walking helps seniors to limit sickness, boost endorphins, improve heart health, build bone mass, and improve balance. All this in just 30 minutes a day, and it's free. Meet at the Recreation Park at 9 a.m. on Tuesdays every week. The Senior Center Walking Group walks a lovely, fully accessible path around Recreation Park at 123 Recreation Drive in Auburn. Please wear appropriate footwear. Hydration is always important, and understand that there are risks, both foreseeable and unpredictable, with any exercise, and that consultation with your doctor is advised regarding whether you can safely participate in a walking club. Walks could be canceled due to bad weather, so call Michelle at Piers, 530-885-6100, extension 26, to verify during inclement weather.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. To learn more about what every woman needs to know about breast cancer, visit nbcf.org.
Hi, I'm Rob Littlepage. I am here with Dave Faoro, and we are talking vegetable gardens, and particularly we're hitting on tomatoes, which this kind of segued into this, but this is great because I grew more tomatoes. Wendy and I grew more tomatoes this year than we normally have planted, and a lot of it is. I got started some from seed, which I always feel is kind of fun to get something going from seed. And then some I picked up at the nursery early on.
Yeah.
And thinking, well, I'll get them early and I'll just put them in the greenhouse. And then maybe in early or mid-April, it'll be nice enough I can get them out in the ground. Well, that didn't happen this year. And they kept getting taller and taller and taller until they were probably a good 18 inches, tall or so. And you had mentioned, because Dave and I are both members of the Auburn Garden Club, and so at one of the meetings you had mentioned how when you have a really long, tall tomato, just take some of the lower leaves off, and we always plant tomatoes a little on the deep side anyway. Well, you had suggested that you could actually lay them in a trench and kind of, as long as you don't break them, lay them horizontal.
Yeah.
And you mentioned something about how tomatoes root.
Yeah, it's called adventitious roots. So,
adventitious.
Yeah,
okay.
so that's my old biology coming out of me, from 100 years ago.
Yeah.
But if you look at the hairs at the bottom of the stem of the tomato, you'll see all these hairs. Well,
right.
when it's under soil, those all turn to roots.
Oh, okay.
So they will actually make roots along that hair area. So you'll actually get a rather strong root system from a tomato plant if you do that. It's also why you bury them deeper, tend to bury them deeper for the same reason.
For the same reason, to get that root mass.
Bigger root mass. Because tomatoes are heavy users of nutrients.
Yeah, they're a heavy
water.
feeder.
They're a heavy feeder, yeah. And they, sucking in water and everything else. So and they'll create rather large. If you've ever dug up a tomato plant later and tried to be careful about you'll see they have a rather extensive root system.
Yeah, they do.
But that's why you do that, and it's just fine. Tomato plants just fine by burying,
and kind of doing them in a J root or whatever.
Yeah, you could bury quite a bit of it under it, and it's not a problem.
Okay,
it's not going to do anything.
So you had mentioned before the break, there's a lot more to the taste and vigor of a tomato than just NPK, and you had mentioned micronutrients, and so I've read a lot about this, and I've done some classes on organic gardening because that's kind of my emphasis. But are there specific micronutrients that are more important for the tomato plant itself that we as home gardeners should be at least aware of?
Well,
or how would you qualify that?
The very specifics, there's some things in magnesium sulfate and some other things like that are more beneficial to a tomato than maybe some others. Peppers and eggplant like that too. But even other types of micronutrients, I believe, and this probably fits in with what you're talking about, I believe that it's about making a great soil, and then that's what supports your crops. I don't care what they are. So you're getting all the little creatures in the soil all happy and being able to deal with the compost and other things that I put in the soil. But the other types of micronutrients, I use a couple of forms of rock dust.
Okay.
And in there, either azomite or some.
Oh, okay.
Types.
Yeah, I've got azomite.
Those types of things. You don't have to do it every year. Every couple of 3 years, you don't have to put, and you don't have to put very much. But and I have personally done an A/B test, even though I am a techie type. That's what I would do with some things. But the studies I've read have shown that you get the taste quality of the tomato, what you recognize as taste. If you do that, you can put the same kind of NPK. In my book, that's kind of why even things like some of the hydroponics and some of these other things just don't taste the same, just because of all the other little things that come.
All the complexities.
It's a complexity that you recognize when you taste. Okay. And if you pay attention to it, and that's where that's where I think, and that's what I do is I use some rock dust with my compost.
Okay.
And I use very little, even organic other types of NPK fertilizer. I put very little bits of nitrogen really through. Use some alfalfa pellets typically.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's about it. I don't really do that much.
Well, yeah, because it seems to me that nitrogen is really promoting the vegetative growth to such a degree, but like the soft rock phosphates, to promote flower and root growth and get that fruit production and get the flavors into it. So, is like the oyster shell lime one of the best things to help prevent blossom end rot?
Blossom end rot, yeah, exactly. I use that.
Okay.
every bed every year. Our
Uh-huh.
soils up here, you probably have already said that. All our soils are depleted of calcium up here.
Yep.
I learned that because I'm not used to that from down south, actually.
Oh, from the Fresno area?
So when I came up here,
Are they high in calcium?
well,
I
didn't have as much of a problem.
Okay.
And that in the soils there that I was used to. But then when I came up here, I just had problems in squash and eggplant and peppers and tomatoes, everything in the red dirt country up in Auburn. And then, which, by the way, I moved down the hill to Loomis Basin because I didn't want to deal with it. But so
you can't run away, Dave.
No, the calcium. But yes, so I put that every year.
Okay, so I have a question because we mentioned all the little critters in the soil, and I know that like the soft rocks need to be broken down to get into a plant usable form, and a lot of that happens because of the
fauna, microfauna, I call them.
Yeah. And so is that true of the calcium as well, or is it something that can go into solution and
that calcium goes away a lot faster and goes out, tends to disappear unless you use some types of calcium. Some people use like eggshells and stuff like that, which I don't understand how that could really work.
Yeah,
over long. It takes
a
forever.
long time.
It takes forever.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really not something. If you got a problem, don't use that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you want to build your. You got to build your soil, and to that end, I did want to mention I do a no-till environment in my garden.
Okay.
And it's all because it's all about those microfauna. I don't want them hurt, and I want to develop the soil. And I've done this for a good 12 years or so. I moved 100% to no-till.
Okay.
And it really makes I think a big difference in terms of that microfauna. It keeps them alive.
It keeps them
going.
alive. It doesn't destroy the soil structure, and so it gives them the air and water space, everything they need to create their own environment. So
to break down those organics over a long period. I like organics because it lasts longer. It's not water soluble types of fertilizers that go away those will go away real quick.
Right.
And,
we're always taught, oh gosh, nitrogen, all this stuff flushes away really quickly. But if you use the right organics, and do you do cover crops?
No, I do not do cover crops.
Okay.
I don't. I see that happening in places, and I haven't really recognized. To be honest with you, it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
for me to deal with. But besides that, I think a lot of the reason why a lot of places use cover crops too is around protecting the soil through the bad winter rains and all that.
Oh,
the
from getting the compaction
and all that stuff.
But if you put compost and mulch or straw mulch over, that's good enough. Yeah.
But so this is you could poke at me a little bit for anti-organics, I guess a little bit, but I use plastic mulch in my gardens. I moved to that a few years ago, mainly because of my time. I work more than I work more than 40 hours a week in my day job, and I have this big old garden, and all this time. So I have to do anything I can around reducing my time. One of those is weeding, but I found a huge improvement in I've reduced easily more than 50% of my irrigation dripping because of the plastic mulch.
Okay.
Also, I rip the plants up, but I leave the plastic in those beds protected through the winter. So when we had all those crazy rains in the wintertime, my beds are protected.
Okay, so they're not getting saturated and
compacted, and you kind of kill that top because you don't really have the plants there, the natural kind of in a natural environment that would protect your soils that would normally come out in your winter grasses or some other things, right?
So the plastic mulch doesn't get that soil too warm, almost like a solarization situation in the summer?
Not the mulch I use.
What do you
really
use?
airs. It's a green. It breathes really well. It's I can't tell you the name of it. I buy it up at Peaceful Valley.
Okay.
It's a commercial type that it doesn't get it doesn't do the solarization. It does not get hot enough.
Okay.
And breathes a lot more than any regular types of plastics.
Oh, okay.
So it's really does a really good job.
It sounds like it's almost like a hybrid of weed cloth and a plastic mulch idea.
It really only lasts. It can last almost 2 years but I typically have destroyed the plastic by punching holes and done stuff in there that I can't really reuse it. I've done some beds I'll reuse. For instance, if I grow tomatoes and I'm going to grow squash the next year, let's say, I could take off once I roll the plastic back, amend the soil, push it back over, and then I could plant my squash. I could do a little of that, but it barely survives that second year with the squash, and it's got to go.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay. Does it flake up like?
Yeah, not quite. It will get splits, and it will, but it's got enough UV protection that it lasts. Normal plastics won't last even, a few months in our sun.
Right.
But this does. This lasts a whole season.
So interesting, because I heard you talk about this once before, and
I brought some samples at the garden club.
Oh, okay. And I'm of course thinking like.
So I only give a pitch to the garden club. So in January, I think it's in January. I'm going to be doing a presentation on this. So.
Okay, and we'll talk about that. We have to take this break, and we will be right back on AM 950, the voice of the foothills.
Isley's Nursery on Nevada Street in Auburn, member of the Master Nursery Association, has camellias, azaleas, ground cover, fruit and shade trees, and a huge selection of potted plants. Isley's Nursery also stocks irrigation supplies and waterfall pumps. Come in and check out their garden shop. Their gardening staff can answer all of your gardening questions. So stop by Isley's Nursery on Nevada Street in Auburn, across from the post office.
Come explore the Auburn Fall Home Show this weekend in the beautiful Auburn Fairgrounds. See hundreds of exhibits and get inspired to refresh or remodel just in time for the holidays. Tiny House Village, Harvest Fest cooking demos, and win a $50,000 tiny house.
Logic and information. That's what I want. So here are 282 facts to put into my 30-second radio commercial.
Well, sir, you're missing a great opportunity. See, radio gets up close and personal. It pushes listeners' emotional hot buttons more than TV or print.
Well, maybe for a product that has some emotionality, but not a straightforward product like mine.
Are you serious?
What's emotional about a cemetery? They're dead, they're buried, they're gone, bada bing.
Sir, radio can always make an emotional connection to the consumer. Now, here's a spot we did.
Hope it has all my facts.
I love my grandma, but now she's in heaven with the angels.
Hidden Knoll Cemetery knows how painful a loss can be, and that's why we're with you, helping through your sorrow.
Turn it off. That commercial will haunt me for months.
See, that's radio, and that's great advertising.
Okay, you win.
Great.
Say, what about my slogan, Hidden Knoll Cemetery, conveniently located 6 feet under Cleveland? Maybe I should rethink that.
That's going to need work.
Do what radio does best. For more on how to get closer to the consumer, call this station. A message from the Radio Advertising Bureau.
As soon as you play, I'm playing. I'm saying my first drum, second's your first beat. I'm saying first, you 2 feet, then we might stand up. Like first you get your hands, then I get your hands up. My sound, your throat, my dance, your feet. You hear my no heartbeat. The metronome in your chest keeps you in time till there's no time. So you sing till you got no breath, and whoever's next dances to the song you've left. Music creates movements, inspire movements. Where I am, you've been. There is you, then there is music. Music follows you.
I'm Danica Patrick. Driving race cars is risky. Not having life insurance to take care of your family is even riskier. Learn how life insurance can help at lifehappens.org.
A public service message from the nonprofit Life Happens.
Have you checked out KHI.com lately? You'll find our live stream link, blogs written by your favorite KHI personalities, along with community happenings and local information. KHI.com is your best source for up-to-the-minute news, sports, and weather for all of the foothills. KHI.com. Take a look and get informed. KHI.com, your online home for the voice of the foothills.
Good morning. We're back. I'm Rob Littlepage. I am here with my guest Dave Faoro. I'll get it right one of these times. Anyway, we have a caller, Saul. Good morning. Saul? Has Saul gone away? Oh.
Well, maybe he hung up.
Saul, if you're out there, give us another call, and somehow we lost you. So anyway, where were we? We've just been talking so
Micronutrients
much.
we were at originally, but hey, we could go
Okay.
anywhere else.
Okay, so I'm going to touch on that just a little bit because I know that some of this has to be broken down and used by the microbiology in the soil and such. And so that's where I get soft rock phosphates in a little early to help get that broken down. But
Right.
it sounds like calcium is something that we would want to use at the time of planting. Is Saul back on the line? Saul, good morning.
Good morning, Dave and Rob. You guys mentioned the Auburn Garden Club, and I want to ask Dave about the grants program.
Oh, yeah. So, Saul and I are on the grants committee at Auburn Garden Club. So we have come to the Auburn Garden Club website. So it's we we have some grants available, mostly for educational facilities and that sort of thing. But come to the Auburn Garden Club website, and there's the forms there online. Deadline for submittal is middle of October. All the information is there on the website. But thanks, Saul, for.
Do they have to be a nonprofit to?
They have to be. Yes, a 501(c)(3). Did I get that number right? But anyway, yes,
sounds good to me.
It's a good number. But yes, they have to. You have to be a 501(c)(3) organization, nonprofit. Yeah. To do that. So, but we've the Auburn Garden Club's done this for years, and our profits for that come from our plant sales in the fall. I mean, in the spring. Sorry, in the spring and end of April. So. So I'm going to plug for that too.
Yeah.
Come out to the plant sale because that supports the grants. Okay. So thank you.
So, and this year the plant sale, I believe, is April 28th.
Well, I don't have the calendar in front of me. So
I seem to remember it's like towards the end of it. So,
it is.
So, Saul, did we lose you, or are you still there?
No, right here. Good.
Oh, okay. So, come to the plant sale and help to support the garden club till we have the profits to keep funding the grants that we can put out to these different organizations. Does that sound good, Saul?
That's good. And I want to mention there are a lot of men in the Auburn Garden Club.
Well, yeah, there's the three of us.
I know, a lot more.
Yes, a lot of active. There's definitely a lot of active men and women in the club.
Well, and there's a wealth of knowledge. I mean, just talking with Dave this morning. I mean, and Saul, your knowledge of propagation, and everybody's got something to offer there, and. So.
Oh, yeah, we all learn. And guess what? One of the best parts I like to snoop around other people's gardens. So you get the opportunity, we go to lunches or we do something at other people's gardens as part of the club. And that's fun as heck to do.
So, okay.
Thanks, Saul.
Thank you, Saul.
Okay, back to tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
Or veg. Just veg.
All right, bye now.
Bye.
Okay, bye, Saul. So, 300 plants or so, 50 different varieties. What the heck do you do with all of these tomatoes? I mean, how much?
We eat a lot of tomatoes.
I bet you do.
I mean, I love tomatoes. That first tomato of the year, oh my God, okay?
Yeah. You're just waiting to see them turn red.
Oh my God, it doesn't, nobody sees that tomato, okay?
Yeah.
Except me. Anyway, I'll post it on the Facebook page, just show people, here it is, and it's gone. Anyway. But no, so what I have is, and I've done this for a number of years now, is I have a little Honor farm stand at the end of my driveway.
Okay.
And the tomatoes and other veg get put out there. People put money in a box. I have a suggested price and such. And the profits there go to the Placer Food Bank, which I've supported also for many years.
Great.
And so I call it a win-win-win. I get the win because I justify my insane garden size, and people get to have the veg, and the Placer Food Bank gets the results. And they're such a wonderful organization. You can't believe how many people in our area, and we have a very high dollar, environment here. We have people who earn good salaries in Placer County, okay? But you can't believe how many people are food desert, food in need every day.
Yep.
And so it just, until you start to study that, to me, it's just the kids and others. It just you just want to support that any way you can.
Absolutely.
Instead of providing the veg, they also have a program to give the fresh veg over, but that's harder for me to do, and so I do the money thing, which they take $1. That $1 buys something like 3 meals.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
So a really good return on investment.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So okay. How
my
big
my stand's coming down this weekend, by the way. So the tomatoes have stopped now for a few weeks, but I still have some onions and some other things. But anyway, I'm taking the stand down.
Okay.
But what I do is I have the stand. When I'm in the height of the tomato season, I'm filling the stand. All the tomatoes go. Everything I grow goes.
Okay.
They don't. Some if the tomatoes are blemished or have a problem, my chickens that are right next to my bed, they're connoisseurs of good tomatoes.
Yes.
Okay, but then but everything goes, and I'm filling the stand multiple times a day if I'm around.
Wow.
I mean,
because that's a lot of work to harvest all of this. Because there's more than tomatoes. There's all these other vegetables that you're growing as well.
Yeah, it's mostly a summer crop kind of stuff. But
still,
squash and peppers and those types of things. And but yeah, it's there's a pretty intense 2.5 months or so in there that it's going pretty crazy.
Yeah. So how big is your garden?
It's about a third. It's about a third of an acre as a garden.
Okay.
I have 45 beds.
Okay.
Of which every bed, here's my engineering coming out. Each bed is 3 feet wide.
Okay.
2-foot paths between them.
Okay.
No bed smaller than 20 feet long.
Okay. And these are all in ground. They're not.
They're all in ground beds.
Okay.
There's a couple of beds I have raised bed wood with gopher wire. Those are my special beds when I really want to keep the frickin' gophers away. But I'm pretty good at trapping. Hey, I'm pretty good at trapping gophers, and I'm pretty dang good.
What's your secret?
Normal traps. But I go in. Yeah, but I tempt them with onion leaves on the outside, and I clean up my hands. I think they might smell too. So with onion leaves, and I put that in the beds, and I pretty well know how to set the traps. And I also keep the very large rodents out. They're most people call them deer, but I call them large rodents. So I have deer fencing around the whole property.
Yeah.
Plastic, normal 2-inch, which, by the way, that stuff lasts forever. I mean, I bought this stuff at Peaceful Valley a good almost 20 years ago, and most of that fencing's that old, and it doesn't even think about rotting.
Okay.
And, it's very good stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, so those are my main problems. I do get some rats that come into the tomatoes because of the chicken. They came because of the chickens originally.
Yeah.
But and I'm always fighting them. And I trap those as well.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I wish I had a good cat. If anybody has a good cat.
Well, yeah, I was going to say I have a cat. We smoke them out with the water, then the cat just.
There you go.
Good stuff.
Whoa. I wish Yeah.
With your no-till gardening.
Yeah.
So you're just amending the soil, and are you using a spading fork?
Yeah. Okay.
Or how are you getting your amendments?
Yeah. So this is the process. So I rake up the bed. What I do is I put my amendments on top, which is whatever I think is necessary.
Okay.
We should talk about garlic, by the way.
Yes, absolutely, because I've got garlic that needs to go in the ground.
There's an issue about garlic, so let's talk about that later.
Okay.
But prepping the bed is put the amendments on there, and I broad fork it.
Okay.
So Google broad fork, guys. It's a big old tine thing you step on, and you just
it's like a spading fork.
Yeah, but I'm not turning the soil over.
Okay.
I'm just opening up the soil to let the air and nutrient air flow and open the capillary. what you're doing by doing a broad fork is you're replacing, because you're ripping the plants out, right?
Right.
In the nature environment, what's the thing that kind of drives through the soil that opens up stuff?
Roots.
It's the roots. Well, they're gone.
I got it.
You got it. Because we're ripping the roots out, right? We're ripping the
Right.
plant. So the broad fork's replacing the roots. Think of it that
Okay.
way.
Okay.
So you're opening it up. You're letting the nutrients come back in. You're in the soil. But I don't turn it. It doesn't destroy. You're not going over a rototiller and destroying all your earthworms and other things that are in the top 8 inches or so of your soil. So.
Okay, then I'm.
Go ahead.
Devil's advocate here. No, I'm not going to take a break.
Where's that mute button?
The views and opinions. I guess I will take a break. He's bringing my music up. Okay, we'll be right back, and we'll be right back.
Isley's Nursery on Nevada Street in Auburn, member of the Master Nursery Association, has camellias, azaleas, ground cover, fruit and shade trees, and a huge selection of potted plants. Isley's Nursery also stocks irrigation supplies and waterfall pumps. Come in and check out their garden shop. Their gardening staff can answer all of your gardening questions. So stop by Isley's Nursery on Nevada Street in Auburn, across from the post office.
Got questions?
Need some encouragement? Feeling lost or alone?
Tune in on Sunday mornings at 9:30 as we take on tough questions and explore how faith can help us in our day-to-day lives. Looking for a community you can call home? Visit us in person at Faith Lutheran Church of Meadow Vista. Wherever you are in your faith journey, you're welcome to walk with us. There's a place for you here.
Radio? Why should I advertise on radio? There's nothing to look at, no pictures.
Listen, you can do things on radio you couldn't possibly do on TV.
That'll be the day.
All right, watch this. Okay, people, and now when I give you the cue, I want the 700-foot mountain of whipped cream to roll into Lake Michigan, which has been drained and filled with hot chocolate. Then the Royal Canadian Air Force will fly overhead towing a 10-ton maraschino cherry, which will be dropped into the whipped cream to the cheering of 25,000 extras. All right, cue the mountain. Cue the Air Force. Cue the maraschino cherry. Okay, 25,000 cheering extras. Now, you want to try that on television?
Well...
You see, radio is a very special medium because it stretches the imagination.
Doesn't television stretch the imagination?
Up to 27 inches, yes.
Catch the Dew Sweepers Golf Show Sunday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m. right here on AM 950 K-High. Lead instructor Tony Ruggiero will help you with important tips on how to improve your golf game. The Dew Sweepers gives every golfer access to the best help from Golf Magazine Top 100 instructors, tour players, and the Cleveland Golf Tip of the Week. The Dew Sweepers Golf Show is brought to you by the Auburn Valley Golf Club. Call 530-269-2775 to book a tee time or online at auburnvalleygc.com. The Dew Sweepers Golf Show, Sunday mornings at 10, here on the Voice of the Foothills.
Giddy up early with Connie around the K-High Corral.
Sarah, what do you have? What is that? What do you have?
I have baby chicks, Connie.
No.
It's that time of the year again at Echo Valley.
Baby chicks?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
The K-High Corral, Saturday mornings at 8, here on the Voice of the Foothills, AM 950. K-High.
Okay, we are back, and we are talking gardening, and I'm here with Dave Faoro. And if you have a gardening question, give us a call at 885-3565 or 800-950-5244. And we were talking about the broad fork and just loosening the soil in a no-till garden situation, and which sounds fascinating to me, and it sounds like it's a heck of a lot less work than taking a spading fork and turning everything all the time, and letting the microbiology, the earthworms, whatever, break and open up that soil and amend it down underneath for you. But before we run out of time, I do want to talk about garlic, and because on the K-High Corral, the home shows this weekend, and the Master Gardeners have a booth over there this weekend. There's tons of stuff going on, but and Erlene was saying, now's the time to plant garlic.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw the whole garlic thing over to you, Dave.
Okay, yeah. So totally agree. Now's the time to plant garlic. So I do want to bring up some important thing that I learned last year the hard way.
Okay.
Is in prepping your beds for garlic and so I've done the same thing. I mean, heck, Italians and garlic go together pretty well. Anyway, but I had a fail last year. I had one of my beds had a garlic fail where the garlic grew wonderful. It was growing beautiful plants, very nice bulbs. Starting to happen, but then as the bulbs were developing, you see that they were opening up. In other words, the cloves were separating from the main.
So the whole head was starting to just flower open.
Yes, it was opening up, and you're getting shoots from those. The
individual
cloves where it was opening in that way. If you go to my Facebook page, if you search for Veneto Gardens, you'll find my Facebook page for the garden, and you'll see pictures and all that of it. It's called, search for that. But so I couldn't figure out what's going on. I Googled everything, and I looked around. I couldn't find much. I went back to Peaceful Valley, did a great job connecting me to the supplier of the garlic, who they called me back. We had to walk through. He says, I know exactly what happened. He says, 12 years ago, I lost huge areas, and he had no clue. And in Washington State, the extension office there told him it's too much leftover nitrogen. You had too much nitrogen in your soil to starting up, and the plants, and that's what happens. So I was like, oh my God, wait a minute. I put a little, alfalfa pellets or whatever. I'm not really. Actually lowered. I use less nitrogen than I feel like I should be using in place. But to be honest, I don't do a lot of testing. Okay, so and even though that bed had tomatoes the year before,
which are heavy feeders,
and I just threw a little bit of alfalfa pellets, well, that's enough to blow it over the top. And so this year, so I have my beds. I'm prepping my beds, so I do my own.
How do you prep a bed for garlic? What's the best?
Same as I do all my beds. I did the same thing. I put amendments, broad fork it in, and and that's it. Okay. But, so I tested soil first, though, before I did this, before I'm doing any amendments. And guess what?
What?
It says enough nitrogen. I'm like, really? So this one bed I tested had nothing this summer growing on it. It was fallow. Last year, the year before, it was tomatoes.
Okay.
And there's enough nitrogen still in the soil.
Did you do a home test?
I did a home test, to be fair.
Okay.
But it's good enough to tell you within a range. It's not, it's like, and I followed it. Hey, I have a degree in biology, the chemistry. I recognize, the steps and followed it carefully. And so I was very, very surprised. And so now I'm not putting nitrogen in that bed.
Okay.
I'm testing the other beds. So, and we'll see. But I clearly, that's, something to watch out for. Test your beds. Some plants aren't as sensitive, I think, but I was surprised that this happened. I'll probably do some foliar feeding of some fish emulsion and some other stuff come early spring with those garlic. I'll probably do that, but I'm not going to be adding real light. I'm not going to be putting it in the soil.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Because I was going to plant the garlic where our tomatoes are now.
Yeah.
And our tomatoes are winding down. We're still getting a few. What can you do anything with green tomatoes other than fry them?
I have no idea. Let me tell you what I did one year. I did do a test. I pick my green tomatoes.
Okay.
I put them into a cardboard box in the dark, layered carefully. Put them in the garage, and the place won't freeze, right?
Okay.
And guess what? Christmas time, I took out pink tomatoes that were ripe enough to eat.
Really? Okay.
And it worked okay.
And it worked?
They're not like vine-ripe tomatoes.
But they're better than store.
But they were pretty dang good. I was very surprised. That was about 3 years ago. I haven't done it the last couple of years, but it's worth trying.
Yeah.
Anyway. So I give it a shot because it worked.
There's the gardening tip of the day.
Yeah,
but okay, because I'm going to want to get my garlic in, probably not. Well, it won't be this weekend, but within the next couple of weeks, we'll probably be removing.
Through October is a good time.
Yeah.
Bring up onions.
Oh,
a lot of people plant onions this time of year. I don't recommend it. I used to always do that. This is the time of year you plant onions. But I moved a few years ago to February based on a recommendation of Dixondale Farms, which is where I buy my starts from. And it's been awesome because one of the biggest problems with onions that you can have is you can have them go to seed early. And tomatoes are this biennial, right, that needs a hot, cold, and light variation that but if it gets a hot, cold period, it's just the right way, it flips it over to thinking it's gone through its winter. It went through a season that it didn't actually go through, and it will go to seed.
It's confused.
So I never had good luck with listen, guys, everybody's data may vary here. Okay, I'm just going to qualify it. This is Dave's environment, Dave's opinion, or Dave's experience. You heard the disclaimer at the start of this whole program, but anyway. So like sets, I never try sets because I nothing but problems with sets for the same reason. But good size starts. Middle of February is when they come.
Okay, so a set is the little bulb.
A bulb.
The starts are the tall green. It looks like chives.
It looks like a plant.
Yeah, it looks like a plant. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
And typically, like the ones I get from Dixondale, they're almost pencil size.
Okay.
So they're not. They're real nice, big, healthy. So and by the way, they have intermediate day varieties, which would work really good here.
Okay.
So you know what you're getting. You get exactly what you ordered, and you get them exactly the week that you are expecting to get them.
Because Dixondale Farms is down in Texas.
They're in Texas.
Yeah, they're not in Dixon.
No, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. No, don't drive up the road.
No, you won't find them.
Yeah, you're not going to find them.
But
and then so you plant them there in June and pick them by the middle of June. You got these huge bulbs, and you're done. I mean, it's a wonderful.
And
plant.
they have the white, yellow, red, whatever you want.
White, yellow, red, intermediate day, I'd recommend. That's what I've been growing.
What do you mean by intermediate day?
So tomatoes. Yeah, it's all about tomatoes. Onions will bulb based on day length.
Okay.
So they start bulbing based on a certain length of day.
Okay.
So if you plant, if you take long day varieties that take 16 hours to bulb, you go in, south of us here, they don't get 16 hours a day. They will never bulb. You will not get bulbs. You'll get little nothings of green onions, basically.
Okay.
So you got to plant your onions based on day length.
Okay. And that's why an intermediate.
We're between the south and the north, and the day length here we have is is intermediate between those two.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. So that gives it the proper amount of time to be able to bulb.
That's right.
So okay. So The Veneto Gardens is your Facebook page. So if you want to go and just follow the garden, you can hunt for that on Facebook. And let's see, just because I know we're running out of time here. The home show is this weekend, and the Master Gardeners are over there. I know Earlene's going to be doing some stuff with the Master Food Preservers. I don't know the schedules. And let's see, the Farmers Market, of course, is every weekend out here. It is an absolutely gorgeous weekend, and you got to get outside, everybody, and enjoy the garden, enjoy the yard. Dave, thanks so much for coming on, and I definitely want to have you back in the spring or early summer because there is so much more to talk about. So
it's been fun.
Great. Thank you, and have a great weekend, everybody, and I will see you at the end of next month. So, all right.